Welcome to the Pod Bay Door.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. This is the Pod Bay Door. You can join us every Tuesday for info on the newest tech, movies, games, and, of course, our base of operations, Las Vegas. Sit back, relax, and have some fun, and maybe gain some interesting and useful information along the way. You can find us on iTunes Podcast at the Pod Bay Door. Our YouTube channel is the Pod Bay Door Podcast, or you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps. If you like subscribing to things and clicking buttons, well, just start mashing now. You'll absolutely love the Pod Bay Door, and we keep track of everything, so please do that, and we'll give you a big thank you. This is Jamie. Sam is at his trusty producer station behind the scenes. How you doing, Sam?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good. He's a little bit further back today, so we'll make sure he's okay. And we welcome back Adam, fresh off a week-long film gig and a birthday, which is why you don't see Adam on camera today.
Due to technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties with tequila.
Yes.
But happy birthday.
We all love tequila. Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday. 32.
Yes, sir.
30, well, you should know better. Right.
Tequila should not be drinking after like 25.
That's right. So the reason Sam Adam's not on camera today is because he needs a little bit of a break.
Because I'm about to
sprawl that on the floor.
That's right. He's actually right
I have
here.
the microphone under the table right now.
Actually, what the problem is, the sun's too loud today. Every single light's just a little too loud.
It's very loud.
And returning to the studio is John Thorpe. Hi, John.
Hi, James.
John is our roving heavy metal and social conscience reporter. John, we're going to have you update Los Rages for the last time and tell us what went on. And then you were supposed to go to Slayer, yeah?
Yes.
Did you already go?
No, that's not until August.
August, okay.
We're playing at the Joint along with Lamb of God and Behemoth.
Okay, excellent.
Good choices.
Let's get John up there. Well, thanks for being here, John. We really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and what's your shirt today?
A Motorhead.
Motorhead.
Ace of Spades. Eight's Las Vegas, right?
Oh, yeah.
Ace of Spades.
Yeah, nice.
Great
Rest in
song.
peace, Lemmy.
Is anybody in Lem's dead?
Yeah,
That's what I'm
Lemmy's
saying.
Is
dead.
anybody the rest of the band still alive?
They're still alive, but without Lemmy, there's no more
Lemmy,
Motorhead.
I'm sorry. That was it?
Yeah.
Lemmy dies and that's it?
There's only 3 guys, so...
Okay, because I know I filmed them over at the Venetian. They did a special concert for some conference I was doing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But, hey, a big thank you to our new listeners in Tennessee and Delaware. Love to see you guys out there. We really appreciate everybody clicking in and downloading. So, hi out there, Tennessee, Delaware. We have different sections here with Pod Bay Door, and this is not one of them, but I'm every once in a while I pick out some things that just irritate the shit out of me, and here's one of them. The title on the rundown is "What has happened to our gas stations?" And John represent. Well, you're the oldest here in the studio, I recently went to a gas station, and I still remember full service gas stations.
Yeah.
Where the guy would run out. I mean, they don't have the little paper hats and the white uniforms anymore, but they would run out. They would offer to do things, and of course,
Check your oil.
Check your oil.
Turn the tires.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm back in Florida too.
Yeah, and it was nice. Now, okay, that went by the wayside because
As soon as people stop tipping.
Yeah, stopped tipping, and it became people were very time conscious. They don't want to spend that much time while the guy cleans their windows.
Yeah.
So I understand that going away, and I understand that I'm old to even remember that. But now I went into the gas station, and half of the problem is the credit card, debit card thing. The machines, because of the chips now, can't recognize if it's a credit or debit card. And so what's the first thing you do? Because, again, we're time conscious. I'm rushing to get some gas and rushing out to do something else. Well, what's the first thing that happens? Put in the card, blah, blah, blah. It's like a video game now. You have to enter in 40 different things. And then, oh, no, see the attendant. Well, bullshit. Now I have to go in and discuss this, and this is what really drives me nuts.
Grinds your gear?
What's that?
It grinds your gear?
It grinds my gears. Well, that's later. No, these are stripped.
We're just starting, Sam.
My gears are stripped on this one. You can't go in and say, fill her up, Joe.
Yeah.
You can't do it anymore. You absolutely cannot tell them, fill her up and come back in. Now, I understand there's whole different problem with credit cards and everything else and people stealing gas. But good Lord, what happened to my gas station? I mean, again, you should be able to go in and say, fill her up, go fill her up, and then you have to come back in, go back into the store. And then that's where the ancillary sales should happen. You get your Twinkies. You get your... Sorry, Adam.
As long as you don't say tequila.
He went green. Tequila Twinkies. No, you get your Twinkies, you pay for your gas and everything else. And it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
The only reason the attendants are there are to shut off the pump when people drive off.
You know what's interesting is when I lived, before I moved back to Las Vegas, so this just goes back about 6 years.
Right.
And I was living in southern Washington.
Okay.
But I was right on the state line between Washington and Oregon.
Right.
Oregon does not have self-service gas stations. They're all full service.
Really?
Yeah, Washington's like it is here. So
Okay.
you would go there if you filled up with gas, but you had to remember, because sometimes, you're just going across the river.
Right.
So you go to the state line, you'd get out, put gas in the car, a guy would run out, hey, put that down, because you're not allowed to pump your own gas in Oregon.
Really?
Yeah, and actually the gas price, because again, it was a job for somebody to do. Reach out and they would fill the gas, and the gas prices were
so
cheaper.
you're not allowed to pump your own gas? How
That's
does
right.
that work?
They don't have they didn't have self-service, so a guy would come out and no, I'll do that for you, because you'd have to remind people. You'd forget where the hell you were at.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And the other thing I noticed when I came back to the States, I'd been in Japan a long time, so I hadn't really gone to gas stations.
Mm-hmm.
And I go into a gas station, and I looked at the tire, and I thought I needed to put some air in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I look around, I can't find the air station. So I go inside, and I look around, and I said, well, where's the air? We don't have any. I said, you're selling your fucking donuts, man, but you don't have air, and it's a gas station? Where do I get the... Do I go to Krispy Kreme and ask them, do they got air? Well, the gas station is selling donuts, so does that mean the donut shop has got air for my tire?
And I know that they'd be very quick to say it's because of gas theft and so on and so forth, which is why all of their service procedures have changed. Whereas they would say it's because now the credit card machines are for convenience. The no longer having full service is for convenience and speed. Well, it's not. It's not speedy when I swipe my card and have to go in to talk to the guy anyway.
Yeah.
And they can't just say fill her up. I have to guess how much my car is taking, and I actually have one of the e-cars where I can choose gas. We'll get into that whole thing at some point. But bring back our gas stations, John.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Hey, keep those comments and show suggestions coming in. We love them all. Last week's Las Vegas questions were so popular with our listeners. We got so many comments, even comments on the street here in Las Vegas. We decided to include a couple more for today, especially because John's here and has a great history with me regarding Las Vegas. There is a show at the Bellagio called O. It is produced by Cirque du Soleil, which is the French-Canadian acrobatic troupe, generally speaking. But it's called O, and it's based around a large pool of water. It's a fantastic show. It is truly a spectacular show. But when John and I were working as concierge and would assist people in purchasing tickets for O, one of the questions that was dealt with, you purchased tickets that were relatively near the pool. Well, many times people would say, when it says wet seats to O at the Bellagio, does it mean we're in the pool?
Yes, totally. You go in submerged.
No. Yes, we patrons are not swimming in the pool. Wet seats refer to the fact that there are seats in the front of the area near the pool that would be splashed. Now, it's not like Shamu. There are giant waves of water coming out of the pool.
Technically, to be fair, there's one Shamu and O. Like he runs around, he's a big fat guy, so technically there's kind of sort of.
Yeah,
But he's
does
not
he
doing the
splash you?
cannonballs in that.
there's no deal unless there's a terrible error in the show. But no, patrons do not sit in the pool. They don't swim in the pool. It's just little droplets of water. But of course, they charge more, didn't they?
Yeah,
Remember that? They charge more
they
for wet
charge
seats.
more.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not even the best seats to view the show because you're too close, really.
Yeah,
You
very
go
much.
back.
Yeah, Las Vegas auditoriums are extremely small. They're a lot like New York. Actually, a little bigger than New York, but they're much smaller. But as you mentioned for Las Regis,
Yeah.
the Las Vegas theaters tend to have a lot of partial view seats. Meaning that there's a sound booth in front of you or a column in front of you, and you'll actually pay a discounted price. I've never had one of those, but now you had one in Las Regis?
Well, the way that Las Regis was set up for VIP was they had two stages. They had a big stage, they had a small stage.
Okay.
And then the bands would alternate so that there really was no waiting around
Right.
between music acts. So
Right.
one band would be on the small stage, and as soon as they were done, maybe 5-10 minutes later, the other band on the other stage, I gave people a chance to walk over to the other stage.
Okay.
So they had a special viewing area because what they did is they set it up in the street,
Right.
They blocked it off. So pretty much what might be the sidewalk, they put up a wall, and the people that had access to VIP seats there's no seat you're standing, but they could go basically on the sidewalk and get right up alongside the stage.
Okay.
Where everyone else is kind of then scrunched in the middle, which is fine. But you listen to that, and like I said, I'm no longer into moshing. I like the music, I like to rock to it, but I don't want to get thrown around like a beach ball at a Dodger game.
Were you into moshing at some point in your life?
No, because it wasn't around when I was going to concerts and when I was
No,
18 or
that's
19, they didn't do that.
Yeah.
So they had this. So it was really nice for the small stage. But for the big stage, you were too far off to the side, where they had the big speakers and everything. And you really couldn't see anything unless you got in the back and they had another platform, which you could see. But now you're kind of far away. So if they really needed to improve that for that viewing area for the big stage. For the small stage, it was fine.
So was it worth the money?
Yeah, what day did you go, John?
I went both days. It was a Friday and a Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was 2 days, and when the tickets first went on sale, you had to buy them for both. I think they sold single day tickets after that.
Yeah, they sold single day passes near the end. Beginning it was a pair.
Yeah.
And then there's like the levels of VIP and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sounded like a good lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I think it was worth. I mean, when you think about, there were like 6 bands each day.
Yeah.
And for me, the highlight for me was Anthrax.
Nice.
Yeah, and I got a guitar pick.
No way.
I
Nice.
did. He flicked it out, and Joey Belladonna, the lead singer, he takes a guitar pick. He flicks it out on the stage, and they came on at 10 p.m. So it was dark and nobody could see it, but I felt it. It hit me in the shoulder. Like, what the hell? So I get out the
caught
cell
it.
phone,
Score.
look down there. There it is, right at my feet.
Nice.
You're gonna frame it.
Got it. So then the kid says, "Hey, I felt something hit me in the head," and we couldn't find that one. We think it hit him in the head, and then it glanced back. The second one he threw out.
How was Godsmack?
Oh, they were great. Now it was funny is that when they were really popular, going back into 15 years ago.
Yeah, the early 90s.
Yes, they had their girls that really liked them, and now they're all middle-aged and fat.
Yeah, that's what happens.
But
That's what happens.
every
Kill
bit
my
is
dream, John.
energetic.
Well, that's unacceptable.
I've seen those guys twice in concert, and they bring the energy
Yes.
big time.
So
Oh.
was it worth the VIP fee? I'm not going to say how much you spent, but
Yeah.
was it worth it? That extra money?
Yeah, I think if I would have gotten the next level down, they had gold and silver. Silver would have been just fine, but they were sold out when I got there, so I had to go gold. It came with a T-shirt and a poster.
Oh, okay.
And then of course I get to bond with my kid.
Nice.
So that's kind of priceless.
Over
So that's kind of value in itself.
That's it. Yeah. So we got to go to a vegan restaurant together.
Bonding over Anthrax. That's very,
Yes, that's
very Norman Rockwell.
It sounds so millennial. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Millennials don't know who Anthrax is.
Well, here's another one. Here's another question that I still snicker about, and this happened way more often than I. All of my colleagues have a related story, but the person would come up. In this case, it was a woman. She was a woman, and I'm really upset. Which was normally the opener for anybody that came to the concierge
They're
desk.
always pissed off
I'm
about
really
something.
upset. My key doesn't work. Now, I will say that there oftentimes, because of our new key systems, and by the way, keep your keys away from your credit cards.
And your cell phones.
And your cell phones. It demagnetizes them, and you have to go down to the front desk. So that happens a lot. So I thought that's what it was. Well, 20 minutes later, after being just lambasted by this woman and getting all these people involved, we come to the conclusion and realize when she shows us the other side of her key, which usually has a graphic of the hotel, she's not staying with us.
Yeah.
She's at Harrah's.
Yeah.
Congrats.
And she in her drunken
Genius.
stupor wandered into the Venetian. So that's always a fun one. So and of course it was me. I had to say, this is not your hotel, ma'am. So go away. And then lastly, on the questions, this is specific to where John and I worked at the Venetian Hotel. In the Grand Canal shops, which are these luxurious, overpriced shops on the second floor of the Venetian shopping area, they have a man-made river that looks like the Venice canals.
With the gondolas?
With the gondolas.
Yep.
And the gondolas are floating through. It's a lovely thing to do. It's not very long, but invariably, almost daily, someone would ask John and I, do the gondolas take you to your room?
Oh, man.
Somehow they defy gravity.
The
Water doesn't
sweet,
fall
actually.
out.
That's right. They start on the second floor, elevate 35 floors up. There you are at room 212. I don't know.
You got that upward flowing river right
I,
to your hotel
exactly.
room.
Working at the Players Club over there, I did my best not to laugh every time people say gondolas.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's gondola. It's not that hard. But
Yeah.
these folks are from the Midwest, so they say, hey, how much is them
How about them
gondolas?
gondolas?
How much is them gondola rides? They last a long time.
I got a flume ride once. They
Really?
were the flume
Oh,
ride.
yeah, the log flumes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You know the other one I used to get, people say, you don't have a 13th floor here, do you? I said, no, we do. We call it the 14th. But it's the 13th floor. Go out
We
and
all know
count
that.
Yeah, no, we're in keeping with that. We don't have
The
13
superstitious.
Yeah, it's terrible. But log flume, log ride. No, here's one to go along with you, Sam. The Italian log ride.
Oh, man.
That was fun.
I'm sorry, guys. I know you're trying to break the stereotype, but proposing on the gondola is not original anymore. It was not original like after the first year of the gondola rides at the Venetian Palazzo. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's a shopping mall. That's what it is. And people would want to get married. We want to get married here. I said, you're getting married in front of a shoe store. With tourists walking around with fanny
are you sure you won't
packs.
get married in front of Nathan's hot dog? Like, is that what you remember?
Absolutely, yeah. But again, not to say if you've never been to Las Vegas, it is a point of interest. I highly recommend it. But common sense, folks.
But it's a ride, just like
It's
any
a
other
ride.
like roller coaster.
That's right.
It's
You're on,
overpriced
you're
and
off.
everything. But
Well,
it's
the one good part is they sing to you. I mean,
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
about it.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, last week you had talked about, and I was laughing when you and Julia were talking about Siegfried and Richard. Because I don't know why it is. You know, maybe they have a street here in Las Vegas now called Roy Horn.
Yes.
Yeah.
And maybe they named it after him because he was the guy who always seemed to get dissed.
Yes.
Right? I got Siegfried and Wah. One time I said, no, he's German.
Yeah,
he's
he's
not
not
French
Canadian.
Canadian. The other one that I got the most, Sigmund and Freud.
Yes.
Are you
Yes.
serious?
I got that a lot.
How do you not
Sigmund
laugh?
and Freud.
How do you
Yes.
keep a straight
Yeah.
face?
It's difficult.
That's close enough.
Yeah. And also we had Michael Flatley. Remember that?
Yes, Lord of the Dance.
Lord of the
Yes.
Dance. I got Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies.
Yeah,
That's right.
we
The
got
guy
Lord
who
of the
plays
Flies.
Piggy. Yeah.
That's right. Sigmund and Freud. You
you
gotta
know-
bring your mom though with the
Sigmund
Yes,
and
that's
Freud.
And there's a couch and everything. You get to lay down and.
Yeah. Oh
but-
Lord.
Perfect. I'll
Yeah,
take one of those.
There
All
was some taxi driver lore about Roy. This is an old story that used to be told years ago,
Okay.
long before he was had the run in with the tiger.
Okay.
Was that he had died and was replaced by his cousin, and nobody said anything. It was like all secret. Now, why they would have to do that, who knows? But taxi cab drivers would pass this story around, and it was interesting because, of course, if you've seen their show, they don't really talk very much.
No, but
Yeah.
I take exception to that because there have been many news reports with Roy in it, and he was quite infirmed. So, but he was still walking, and he had a.
So this was actually long before those.
long before.
long
He had
before.
died prior to.
Yes,
I'm
prior,
sorry.
like
Okay.
in the 80s.
Okay.
And now I knew two guys that knew Siegfried and Roy, And, one of the guys told me, no, I know him really well. I know him since they came into town.
Right.
Siegfried is really the laid back one.
Sure.
When he's not on stage, he wears blue jeans and a straw hat.
Right.
Roy was more the flamboyant Liberace
the gaudy
type.
guy?
The gaudy one, right.
Yes.
So he says, I know those guys. I've known them here. Roy and I can talk about the old days. So I don't believe that story at all, even if it was like a twin, because you wouldn't have those memories.
Right.
Yeah.
But this other guy says, he goes, I'm not so sure, because before I even heard that, he goes, I kind of thought Roy was shorter than he is now. So maybe there's some truth to that. Those guys would argue back and forth whether that was really Roy or the doppelganger.
Did you ever see the movie Prestige?
Yes.
So the
Yes.
two guys that
on
were
Netflix
the same,
now.
they were
Yes.
twins, right?
It's
And they were
great.
Yes.
playing
Yeah.
the same character,
Yeah.
kind of the same
Yeah.
thing. Maybe he had like a twin somewhere that nobody was aware of.
The little hidden gem.
Well, we need to find out how they did that for Roy because we need a new Adam.
Yeah. For today anyway.
Swap me
Just,
out.
just give him 24 hours. He'll heal up in 24 hours.
Las Vegas has ruined our Adam.
It's-
Well, here's another. One of the things we started last week is the topless report. Where are they naked now? And John, you listened. Obviously.
Yeah, the Olympic Garden, I didn't realize. I've got that lifetime VIP
Yeah,
pass too.
Yeah. John and I were big in the strip clubs back.
No
in the
longer
day.
valid, guys. Sorry.
Right.
Try out your Starbucks. Maybe they'll accept it.
But we had some questions and people talking to us, especially the guys. The Tropical Smoothie, really love the topless report. So here we go. The people again would just arbitrarily take their clothes off, either within the hotel proper or at the facilities. Nightclubs were big. I had a lot of friends that were doormen, and they would take their clothes off for the doorman. On the dance floor itself, and they would get to know the two numbers 8 and 6, which means they were 86. They were thrown out, but lots of nudity at the clubs. I don't know. It was back before the advent or the popularity of EDC, but we had. What was our club?
Was it Y2K?
Y2K.
Yeah.
Right, Y2K, and they would take their clothes off just in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
so-
happened once, I remember, at the front desk where a woman came up there, took all her clothes off, was running through the lobby, and one of the front desk agents, woman went and corralled her, got her clothed again. She came out, did it again. Encore
Oh yeah, right,
performance.
exactly. Oh no, I remember that. And one thing that is a
We're
very
going
popular.
streaking.
Yeah, streaking. We have UNLV, of course, University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and we have the Greeks are here, and a lot of them are part of the initiation is to streak through a casino, but you really shouldn't because you're going to get tackled and thrown into detention, and but lots of streaking, there's just nudity everywhere.
Last thing you want to do is fall on your genitals onto that carpet. It's mean.
Yeah,
All that.
yeah, exactly.
All those dirty, germs. No,
Yes,
thank you. No,
yes.
thank you.
Well, people
like-
walk the strip all the time with no shoes on.
Ugh, they
Oh,
disgust
it's
me.
awful.
Sorry,
Yeah, keep your
sorry,
shoes
folks.
on,
You
guys.
disgust me.
But and of course the third nudity report is people will go out. We have a lot of bachelorette parties, parties celebrating everything, and once they have reached their limit of alcohol, they return to the hotel either by it wasn't Uber back then. By party bus or by cab, by limousine.
Yes.
They would come in, take their shoes off, and then just continue. Literally, they would just become more and more naked as they walk down the hallway.
Well, there were times when you work in the limousine industry, and if there was a issue where someone was disrobed, we would have to go back to the security cameras in the vehicle and actually check the timestamp for this robing situation.
Yeah.
And there were times where you go to the security camera, you're like, oh man, I feel so bad for this driver. He probably went to go wash his eye with some acid. This should never happen to him.
Exactly.
And there were good times too, I mean, you take the good with the bad.
Yeah. Las Vegas is a great place. You get to see, if you're at all normal, you get to watch quite a show and not have to pay for it. So it's good.
Oh, definitely.
The people watching in Vegas is like no other.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's great for
absolutely
date
fantastic.
night. Like literally,
Yeah.
just grab a snack, sit on the side and just watch people
Yeah.
go to town on our
Yeah.
town.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And especially clubs. You go to the highest part of the club and watch guys hit on girls, and it's tragic. We suck. We're so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The worst part is like they keep spending the $40 drinks. Like, no, bro, just walk
Just
away.
one drink.
Yeah.
Just one drink.
Or they snake a guy's attention and get him to do bottle service, like the $100 Grey Goose,
jeez.
which is just so stupid.
It's not even 100 anymore. Now it's like 200 because you got to pay for the booth now too.
Oh, that's right,
For
yeah.
the quote unquote table service.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Like I've seen it firsthand where people got the RSVP for table service.
yeah.
They pay like $300 to $400 for a bottle, and then you get some cranberry juice, some orange juice, and a bucket of ice to mix it. And it's like, dude, split that 8 ways. It's not gonna last long.
Yeah,
Not at all.
exactly.
But it was worth that $250.
Yeah, nothing. No, absolutely not. Well, those were a few of the Las Vegas info questions that we get. We'll keep doing that. But thanks everybody for writing in and stopping us on the street, and it's great. So let us know what you want to hear. If there's any stories that you've heard and want to see if they're true. Most likely they are.
Well, one thing for sure I can guarantee is you never fail to run into celebrities in Vegas at 2 or 3 in the morning easily.
Oh, yeah.
Especially at Denny's or IHOP.
Yeah.
Because, just like the rest of us, they want some breakfast, in the late hours in the morning.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're nice enough to take pictures. A lot of times I like to leave the celebrities alone because I'm like, man, I know this guy had a long night. I don't want to bother him. Just let him have his hash browns.
There you go. Well, we all need to go and have the wedding cake, the wedding pancake cake. I've got to have that. I've got to have that. It's a bucket list kind of thing, right?
I'd like some hash browns right now.
No, not in the studio for you there, buddy.
Maybe just some hash.
Oh, the trail mix.
The trail
Mr.
mix.
Trail Mix here. Totally forgot about that.
Yes, the trail mix.
Just the word hash you don't hear anymore. It sounds like Vietnam, you get a helicopter, like a MASH helicopter. All right, well, it's time for the Nerd Alert. Usually it's sponsored by Adam, and he's gonna come in at the end and talk about NASA. Yes, Adam? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you jump in partially, Adam?
I'll have Sam jumpstart us here on the Nerd Alert.
Jumpstart Nerd Alert?
Yep.
Should I start with the BlizzCon situation?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. So earlier this week, a gentleman by the Reddit name user Chemist of 49 purchased a box called the Blizzard Stuff Box on eBay. He received a bunch of items and realized that he, in his magical box, contained the master code. And the box itself contained the magical disc, Adam. Did you know that?
Yeah. So this guy's got the original disc that's got all the code for the original StarCraft so that, if he wanted to, he could have put it out on the internet.
Ruled the world.
Right? Yeah, and just put it out there for everybody to have. Instead,
He returned it.
He
like
returned
good
it to
citizen.
Blizzard. Yeah, and they hooked him up. What'd they give him, Sam?
Well, for being an honest human being and, being decent, they reward him with a copy of Overwatch. And then the personnel themselves gave him a call to let him know that he received tickets to BlizzCon. And also they gave him more merchandise to Overwatch and also to the game Diablo. And he also got $250 credits worth for Blizzard store online. So it's a win-win for him.
Yeah.
And tickets to BlizzCon, they basically sell out as soon as they go up.
Oh, yeah, right away.
So it's a ridiculous kind of
Well,
offer to give
they're
him.
flying him out too because apparently he
where
can't
is
afford it.
BlizzCon? Is it changed or is it always the same place?
I would assume it's in California.
It's
That's
in
where
Cali.
they're based out of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, they flew him out for BlizzCon. They gave him $250 worth of merchandise. They pretty hooked him up. So
Yeah.
I'm sure he's pretty happy with what he got.
Well,
Yeah.
because the employee that actually got the disc stolen actually called and congratulated him, like they thanked him for it. So I mean,
Huge.
Well,
It's a big
he could
deal.
have open sourced that and
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no.
You throw that online and man,
Game over, man. Game
Although,
over.
although is StarCraft has much of a hook anymore?
No, it still does, especially in Korea.
Oh, it
People are
does.
still playing.
All
Oh, for sure.
All right.
It's still part of the e-sport. Like, no joke, StarCraft.
Yeah.
There are teams dedicated to play StarCraft. That's their job for about 18 hours per day.
Yeah.
They sit in that chair and just play StarCraft.
Yeah.
Like, we can go into whole detail about how there's bars where you sit and play StarCraft and they'll deliver you the food and you keep
Yeah.
playing.
You think esports here is good? Yeah. Yeah,
Well, you
that's-
know what? Speaking of esports, I'm glad you brought that up, Adam. John, your son is how old is Gio?
16.
16.
Yeah.
16?
Yeah.
Oh God. You give him a car?
No, he's I guess he's not like most kids, instead of wanting to borrow the car, he wants to borrow my copy of Communist Manifesto, something like Karl Marx.
Oh, one of those kids, huh?
Yeah, it's one
Bell
of those
tower
kids.
kind of. All right.
Like I say, he goes to heavy metal concerts with me.
Now, my question is: at 16, he's right. I think he's in the sweet spot age. Does Geo? Does it attract him to go to an esports stadium and watch video games being played, not by him, but by a?
Is he a YouTuber?
I know he plays some online games
Mm-hmm.
because he's there talking to somebody on his headset, friends that he plays with. And I know in the past he used to watch. I would say, well, are you playing this game? Or are you just watching it being played?
Right.
I don't know if he does that anymore. He hasn't mentioned that. Hey, that'd be a cool place to go to. He hasn't said it. I'll ask him though.
Yeah. Well, Gio's a very cerebral kid, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if it may not be enough of a stimulus for him just sitting there watching other people play. It wouldn't be for me. But.
Yeah, it wouldn't be for me either. But.
Well, go ahead, guys. I'm the next one. Stephen Hawking. I love this.
About going to space.
Yeah.
How mankind is going to basically ruin the planet, heading in a bad direction, and we have to head out to space in 100 years.
Yeah, if we don't leave, we're going to die. Period, in 100 years.
So
What do you think, Adam?
So are we going to die because A, we've used up all the resources on this planet, or B, because our technology has allowed us to leave?
Probably a little bit of both, dude. I
A
mean,
little
we're
bit of
running a
both,
resource.
but I think not only have we used the resources, but I think we've stagnated the resources with the remaining resources.
I mean, we need the first show of Jersey Shore's Mars. I mean, MTV has to be there and film it first. And
there
then we
you
have
go.
the Desperate Housewives of Mars, the Kardashian of Mars. It's on the way. It's in the
This is
works.
Perfect. So
Well,
Exactly.
we can dumb down another planet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Thank
Dumbing
you,
down
Matt
the
Damon.
universe.
That's right. No, and I think that I think he's saying that yes, we're gonna suck up all of the resources. We're gonna ruin the rest of the resources. I think it's
So-
gonna be a lot like Julia Shoup, the Barren Waters book. I think that our oceans and anything that helps us live, we're gonna kill it off.
Well, yeah, because we're overfishing already.
Yeah.
We're over hunting. Nothing's getting time to regenerate. Technically.
So Stephen Hawking is predicting that we're going to be
The bad
that
guys.
virus that eats away a planet at a time.
But we're doing the right thing though, because in our eyes, it's for the survival of humanity.
Well, sure. In the long run.
Yeah, and it's really pathetic that so many people understand this, but the certain number of power who still profit by the old ways are just refuse to give that up, and they just play stupid. Oh well, we don't know if it's there, and you're going to find out too late before that's
Like
we already
going
know,
green
we
isn't
just
that
tend
hard.
to, some of our higher minds decide they just want to ignore it.
yeah.
Well, I think what also gets in the way is that thing called money or
That's
greed.
what it is.
I forgot what it's called. Greed or money, right? I'm being
Bling
sarcastic.
bling.
No, but I think there's every bit of truth to what Hawking says. We may not be as close as 100 years, or we could be even closer. I don't know, but yeah, we're ruining everything, and I think the greenhouse gas and global warming issue is just the tip of the iceberg, haha, so to speak.
Definitely.
I think we're so worried about arguing whether it's true or not that there are so many other problems that we're having. We've got splashdowns of nuclear missils that are being tested, and
It's a rough world out there right now.
And I think you're right, Adam. I think I can't imagine within 100 years we're going to have the technology to even leave.
We don't have flying cars yet.
No,
Or hoverboards or holodecks.
no Jetsons
We're
yet.
behind the power curve right now.
Yeah, when I was a kid and we used to watch science fiction, what are things going to be like in the year 2000?
Yeah.
And then none of it came. We had those things had flying cars, computers and cell phones. They had anything like that.
You know what we got? We got tablets and we got Facebook.
And now we can order pizza off our phones.
And off our shoes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, gosh,
Right.
those commercials.
Well, no, and we're a tragic representation of the animal kingdom. We're not fast. We can't swim. We can't fly.
we don't technically hunt or gather anymore.
We don't hunt or gather.
We just by gather we go through a drive-through and tell them what number we want.
Yeah. Exactly. So, no, we're in trouble. We're in
And we
absolute.
found
bitch
a
when they get
lot
our
of
order
different
wrong.
ways to eat corn Corn and soybeans.
I have to
Yes.
agree with you. I have to agree
Yes.
with you on that one.
We need to continue investing in corn.
You know what will save the world? You know what will save the world? Your trail mix.
That's
Your
right.
trail mix can save the world.
That's it.
One person at a time.
And we won't care if it ends.
Well, on to better news. We
yes.
can talk about Disney Guardian of the Galaxy ride that's being refurbished from the hotel. Was it Tower
And that
Terror?
pisses me off. That was a cool ride.
Oh, I
that Tower
absolutely.
Terror.
I went on it the second to last day it was running.
Oh,
I
is that
went.
right?
really?
Oh, man, that was
No
a great
way,
ride.
dude.
Yeah. Oh, it was fantastic. I
Don't
loved
mess
it.
with the classics.
And it made me laugh. It was just the most fun ride.
If they were going to get rid of the damn Winnie the Pooh ride. Even my kid, when Gio was like 6 or 7, went on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And afterwards, he told me, I asked him, so what did you think of that ride? He goes, and he told me this, right? He said, I'd rather play with my chin-chin, which, he spoke Japanese mostly there, but basically he'd rather play with his prick than go through that. It was more interesting than going through the Winnie the Pooh ride, which was just dull.
But I'm sure it's going to be great. But yeah, it's I even got a T-shirt. I got a Tower Terror T-shirt. Oh, so
Nice.
Yeah, but now it's gonna be Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, yeah, but
I did a little research on it. I mean, it sounds promising. It opens up this summer. The way to explain it is the ride's gonna contain a lot of Easter eggs. The pattern's gonna be different. So every time you ride, you have a different experience. And then throughout the year itself, they're gonna rotate the Easter eggs around, change it up to maybe relate to a movie.
Mm-hmm.
So every time you actually ride the ride, you're busy focusing on either the ride or the Easter eggs at different levels. And supposedly the storyline for this ride is you're saving Guardians of the Galaxy and you're assisting Rocket Raccoon to free up the rest because they were collected by the collector.
I like that. You got to go on the ride a few times to get the whole story, or
Right?
they
You have to
switch
create a
around.
buddy system, like bring 6 of y'all and then everybody grab a fast pass.
Like, oh, what
take
happened with
turn,
yours? Oh, okay, cool.
right? But I hope that folks will actually take the moment and enjoy the ride and not just film the whole thing. Like, be in the moment. Don't film it on your phone, tablet too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just actually enjoy rides for
Save
what
that for
they
the second
are.
round, okay?
I'm just saying, you know what I mean? You paid how much to go to Disney? You should actually enjoy the moment itself, not just try to get the best screenshots or the best selfies out there.
Yeah. Well, I actually, here's an update, and Adam, you'll find this interesting. I saw a report. We often we've taken company trips to Magic Mountain. Magic Mountain, of course, is sponsored by and has DC comic related rides.
Yes.
One of which is the Lex Luthor's Drop of Doom, which is a very sizable gravity ride. It basically, you go up and you drop a couple of times, pretty high.
I was going to say, I was nervous as hell the first time, but it wasn't too bad.
No, it was a great ride. It's actually quite relaxing once you get over that thing. But what they've done now, they're doing it. They're testing it, but they're going to do it half days, where you actually wear virtual reality goggles, and while the ride is going, and the goggles will assist you in playing an alien invasion video game. And there are several storylines, like 2 or 3 versions, but all the versions end up in you dropping while wearing these. So you're playing a video game. There are buttons on the side of the unit on the eyes, because you have to be strapped in, but your arm can move, and you're firing lasers and killing aliens. And during your storyline, there is a reason why you're going to drop, but you're dropping with these on. So and most of the people involved in the article said, "Let me check. No, I'm never riding this," because they don't think they can handle the actual physical drop and the virtual drop.
Yeah.
Not being able to see the drop as it happens.
Yeah. So I'd go in a heartbeat. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I would try that out.
I mean, the video they showed a capture of the video game, and it's not great, but that's not the point. You're killing aliens around a city, and then I think one of the storylines is that your ship gets hit and you fall. So would you go on that?
No, but what I would do is I would watch you on it while eating my trail mix. I think that's I kind of don't like to be thrown upside down and dropping, and it just I don't mind Disneyland type of roller coasters like Big Thunder Mountain, Matterhorn, the one inside. What's that one? The
Space Mountain.
Space Mountain. I like
Oh,
those.
not the
Hyper
Small
Space
World?
Mountain.
I have to
What
tell
about
you though,
Small World? That's dangerous ride.
it's a small world. I want to go in there in one of those belt-fed machine guns. Yeah, if nothing is more saccharine than that thing, just go in there. Brrr,
Are you reading my journals again?
Well, Adam can relate to this today. But when I was in Japan, I just been over there, a month. They wanted to go to Tokyo Disneyland. I was living out in the country, so I go up there with the group of Japanese people, and we all got hammered the night before. So I'm feeling about like Adam is now. And
It's
we
not
go
good
there,
for roller coasters.
And I had not been on Space Mountain. I didn't know what it was because I hadn't been to Disneyland in the States in 10 years or something.
Gotcha.
So they can't explain it to me. Space Mountain, roller coaster. Yeah, well, what about? I don't. Okay, and I guess, well, it's indoors. Well,
It'll be safe. It's indoors. It's safe.
indoors. I get on that thing. It's like, oh, Jesus, I think I left my head around one of those turns because, when you're in a regular roller coaster, you can kind of anticipate, shit, here we're going to go down, we're going to turn. And that thing there, man, you are just nothing. You don't know what the hell's going on.
Well, now it's Star Wars themed. They have put a whole scenario where you're an X-wing fighter and escaping the Death Star. It's pretty cool though.
Nice.
But speaking of space, there was a notation for the Nerd Alert.
Yeah, got a couple of NASA updates for those people that think that NASA doesn't do anything for us.
Yeah, because we're not going to be able to leave for shit if NASA's not
That's
going.
right.
And apparently in 100 years we better have NASA up to snuff because we got to leave this planet. But we sent out a satellite that has been orbiting Saturn. The satellite's called Cassini, and it took an hour's worth of video, and it's gonna do more video over the next month. But in this video, they found a storm, and in the eye of this storm was a perfect hexagon, and this was at Saturn. So we have like, kind of
Promising signs.
Yeah, some promising signs of otherworldly life because it was that perfect of a
But how do we know it's not going to come to attack us? Like they're not getting for war.
Well,
Or
when
maybe
the satellite explodes, and you have the video of the Martians or whatever like coming after us, we'll find out.
What if they finally they get a good image of it and it turns out to be the upper half of the Statue of Liberty? Oh, that's already been done.
Someone's there yelling, "You damn dirty apes!"
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, blow it up.
So Saturn could be the first sign of extraterrestrial life.
That'd be kind of interesting. So that means we'll have to be there for the first day of Saturn Starbucks next to Saturn Chick-fil-A.
Krispy Kreme.
Oh yeah, can't forget Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
Unless we declassify it. Did Saturn wasn't on the declassified list, right? When they
I'm not
knocked
sure.
out Jupiter.
No, it's Mars because that's the red planet.
Oh,
So
right.
that's the one to be careful about.
So Mars gonna belong to China, right? Since it's a red
That's
planet.
right. That's the red planet.
That's right. Well, that's cool, Adam.
Yeah, and then also NASA has put out their entire library, pictures and video,
Yes.
for free to the public on
Yep.
their
There's no
website.
trademarks on it at all.
So you
guys
can
just
use
enjoy.
anything that NASA has seen or produced for free.
I wonder
any way you
why,
want.
huh? I wonder if it's a political statement by any chance.
You think maybe they're trying to spread the science?
You mean they're trying to keep things real? No, can't be.
Well,
That's cool. There's like endless possibilities I can think of for space videos. That's great.
Well, they're trying to drum up some popularity. I mean, NASA's been the redheaded stepchild of the governmental agencies for years.
Hey, you give me a couple of those trail mix packets, and I'll watch NASA space videos all day, dude.
Yeah, I mean, when
And they have a crazy amount of data too on basically like any kind of storm system or particle system or times and dates, and it's really cool. Check it out. It's on NASA's
I feel
website.
like all of it should be narrated by Doc from Back to the Future. Just have him explain everything to you, but have him say it in the sense like it's urgency. Well, we need you. We got to get this done now, Marty.
Yeah, I saw Christopher Lloyd when they had the Back to the Future, the date celebration.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. That
Nice.
wasn't
Where's
too
this
long
at?
ago.
And,
a couple months ago. wasn't it?
Yeah, a couple months ago. It was actually the day after, and he was at Mandalay. Was it Mandalay Bay? I don't know, but he's a very old dude.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how old he was.
Oh, shit, he was old when he made those movies.
You
Yeah,
know,
it
I
was.
saw on the news this morning they were having a 40th anniversary of. I mean, a show. I just wish wasn't around him was a Love Boat.
Oh my god!
And they
man,
showed. I
that's a
mean,
callback.
they showed Gavin McLeod.
Gavin
Remember,
McLeod, yeah.
he pretty much looks the same. I mean, he was old back then. He's just older now. But they're getting
But
to a
didn't really
certain-
age too much.
No, he just looks like he was old then. Now
Yeah.
he's really old. And but he was with the girl. Well, she's not a girl anymore. But back then it was supposed to be his daughter.
Yeah.
She's all grown up and
Yeah.
she's like a middle-aged woman. But back then she was
Wow.
just a
And
12 years old. or something.
Isaac the bartender.
Yeah.
Gopher.
Yeah.
It was Fred Grandy, I think his name was. Wow, The Love Boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a terrible show, though.
It was a terrible show. Yeah.
It was just awful.
Yeah.
Was this before or after TV was made? I don't know what the Love Boat is. Could you,
Yeah, we
could you guys
just-
tell me how ancient that show is? I'm
The
kidding.
70s. I think it ran 79 to 80.
Yeah.
In the mid 70s to somewhere in the early
Same-
80s.
Same
something
era
like
as
that.
Chips.
Yeah, around then.
Yeah, around then.
Oh,
Probably-
yeah.
I think it was before Chips, though.
Yeah, it might have been before
Oh, wow.
Chips. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to go see the new Chips. That looks awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that pretty much bombed. Anyway, that's it for the nerd alert.
Cool. Well,
Are you go back to sleep, Adam? What's the plan?
yeah, go back to sleep.
Yeah, back under the table for me.
That's right. he's way in the back of the studio. I don't know where he is.
Back to your dungeon.
Well, the Las Vegas 3, we got a couple of good ones here. Ice Cube, O'Shea Jackson. He has officially, as the Raider Nation president, which is I think a ceremonial title,
Yeah.
or one he gave himself. Ice Cube embraced the Raiders' move and says, "People will come." Mr. Jackson,
You're full of shit.
I believe he believes that.
Yeah.
And I think that he's trying to be a positive marketing tool for the Raider organization. I just don't think so, because Las Vegas is no longer, not really, an inexpensive place to come. We used to have the buffets and the Lost Leaders and the cheap shows and this and that. It's not easy to
Yeah,
stay here.
you know,
anymore.
you're
Everything's
pointing this
pricey
out.
nowadays.
Even parking.
Even parking.
Even
oh
parking,
my God,
that's
yes.
you're talking about all the clubs, and when you and I were at the concierge, and that isn't all that long ago to turn of the century, we didn't really have the clubs.
Yeah,
I mean, they
right.
had a few, like we said, we had one in the Venetian, and they really weren't such a big deal.
Right.
But it's changed, and before that, you would get people that it was like they stepped out of a time warp, because
Yeah,
they would say, they would think everything was free, like it was. Where's the $1.95 buffet?
Like, no.
No, that's gone. It's
When you guys were
$35.
there, was Lavo and Tao there yet?
No.
The
Yeah.
clubs?
I
They
wasn't there for
I
Lavo or
was,
Tao.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was.
There was a
Great
Warner
places.
Brothers
There was
restaurant. Was
Warner
in
Brothers
there.
restaurant.
Yes,
yeah.
that's what it was when I was there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and now and then I would get a request for the club, but because the Y2K was separate from the Venetian, I mean, they just rented the space.
Yeah.
It was pretty rare that
Well,
somebody
they
asked me.
started with Lavo, Sam and Tao. They started having. They classified those as ultra lounges.
Oh,
They wasn't
quote
necess-
unquote.
Yeah, because they felt that people were getting scared off by the dancing, actually, because it's so loud and so raucous, and so they wanted a place to go where they could listen to music, hang out, have a drink, and then see and be seen. And I think that's why Tao and Lavo and things of that nature came around. No, I don't. I think Mr. Cube is incorrect, because the bulk of individuals that are Raiders fans are the salt of the earth, blue collar, Oakland, bulwark people. And they can't just continually come out to see the Raiders.
No, and
It'll cost them quite a bit.
And also, I mean, you look at it the other way. Do people go to Oakland to watch the Raiders? No.
No.
No, I mean, they've got their core fans, and some of them I don't even know why, because I'm from the Bay Area, but I was a 49er fan.
Right.
But still, I remember when the Raiders moved the first time,
Yeah.
and they moved to L.A.,
Yeah.
and they called them the Los Angeles Traitors. right?
Exactly.
And then they moved back, and there's some people like, well, should we accept them back in the fold? It's just like, you cheated on me once, and now they're doing it again, and it's
I hear what you're saying big time. For me, I think there's so many quote unquote fans out here in Vegas right now, but when the season starts in a couple of years, we'll see if the fans will put the money where their mouth is at the end of the day. I think.
And the news reports I see, and I get really annoyed at the local media, because it's almost always like, isn't this great? The Raiders are coming. Well, you're going to build a big stadium. It's going to cost us $750
Do you guys know where it
million.
is yet? It's
I think
behind Manley Bay.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's barely any parking there.
Right.
I don't know how to get freaking fit
You're
a
going
stadium.
you're going to get all these people to supposedly show up. Now, unlike the T-Mobile, where they
Yeah.
put on other events,
Yeah.
what are you going to do with this stadium? They're playing 8 regular season games a year.
Right.
They're going to have 2 preseason games. Yeah, UNLV is going to play there. Well, UNLV is already playing in a place which is probably fine for them. They're not even a Division I school.
Yep.
And even in the division they are
Right.
in, they're a shitty team.
Well, I
So-
just saw a report that the another very small topic that is being brought about by the Raiders' move is they believe wholeheartedly it's going to raise the property values, and therefore our housing costs are going to go up.
Negative.
Yeah, and all these jobs they keep. I used to work for the 49ers, right? I mean, I hawked beer in college, and
Nice.
and there were some people that worked that was their job. They worked 49ers, they worked Raiders, the Giants and the A's, and the Warriors. And you needed all of that. I mean, if that's going to be your job, but for working 49er games, a Candlestick, it was okay. We work today. We're off for 2 weeks because that's going to come in. And if you worked the concession stands, it was pretty creepy because they would have. We would have these big boxes of the Polish sausage, buns.
Yeah.
And they would sit there in the corner for 2 weeks, and we come back in there, and in the meantime, some rats would get in there because they would eat through the cardboard. And I'd say to the boss, do I got to throw the box out? No, just take the ones that they ate on. I said, yeah, but Jesus, they ate through the cellophane.
Man.
But there's
so you were serving extra flavor?
Yeah, and people say, well, what do you recommend? Like, it's a restaurant, right? I recommend you go back to your seat, man. Drink the beer. The beer's fine.
Could you recommend them a bottle of water?
A sealed bottle of water.
You know what? I actually appreciate you for being that honest. Sometimes it's not easy being the honest guy because people will frown upon you all the time.
Yeah.
But that's how I roll. Like when me and Adam used to work in the movie theaters, when folks are excited for certain movies, they come out and they ask me, "Oh, how's Terminator 3? It looks amazing. Arnold's back." And I'm sitting there, I'm gritting my best. I'm like, all right. To be honest with you, it's an okay movie. Here's what I'll do for you though. Go watch a movie. I'll give you 15 minutes. If you're unsatisfied, come on back. I'll give you a full refund. That was my fair game rule, which is 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Just to step back to stupid questions, we always got, what's this movie about? And my favorite answer for any question like that was aliens. It's about aliens.
Aliens.
No, the worst. Hey, do you know that one movie with that one actor, from the other movie? And I'm like, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Go check it out. It's really good.
Yeah, I saw him in another movie. What I'm talking about with that guy in it? Yeah.
It's gotten, I'm sorry to say this, it's gotten worse about 4 years ago. So they took out the movie times from newspapers now. It's only available on the weekends. Everything's online. So RJ article came out against Regal Cinemas for being ageist, for taking things out of the print and putting it online. And we were bombarded by all the senior folks calling and yelling at me. And I'm trying to explain to them, like, I'm sorry. I work for them, but I'm not, it's not my fault. We took it out of the papers. So I'm trying to explain to folks. I'm like, okay, do you have grandkids? Do you have, sons or daughters? Ask them to install the app on your phone, and then they can help you out. So I'm sure there's a couple families out there that hate me right now because Nana and Pop wants the movie times. They're going to bother me to death.
Quite figure out that app.
I felt so bad, dude. I felt so bad.
Well, it seems like we have a consensus, though, about Ice Cube and the Raiders. Again,
it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Now, something that is coming very soon in June, and I don't think you're going to this one, and people do come in droves, and they're just ridiculous people, is the Electric Daisy Carnival, EDC, and featuring the best of
thanks for not putting me on camera because I'm rolling my eyes so hard right now.
Well, I'm probably the standout in the studio today. I actually like EDM. When I'm editing one thing or another, I turn that on and I do enjoy it. I do enjoy. I think it's kind of silly the money they make here in town, like New Year's Eve, Calvin Harris and Steve Aoki and Deadmau5 and so on and so forth. But I actually do enjoy it.
Well, yeah, I enjoy techno. Techno's good music.
Yeah, but EDC, again, it's the Electric Daisy Carnival, which is out at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's out there.
100,000.
Droves and droves of people. Thank God it's out there now. And we always have at least a couple of deaths.
Right.
Lots of drugs.
But and I remember twice I had to leave town on business.
Yeah.
And once it was I came back on the day it started. I didn't think about it. And then I saw people walking around the airport dressed like Jesus, must be EDC.
Psychedelic.
Yeah. And then last year I left when it was over. And there was a guy he was on the plane. I was flying. I had to fly to Baltimore before flying to New York. And I could hear him talking to his friend that goes, yeah, I just flew in for a day. I came in one day. I thought, Jesus, guy's getting on a plane to Baltimore. He flew that far. I wouldn't even drive down the street to see it. But spend all that. I obviously spent a lot of money.
Well, for me, from firsthand experience, I've worked EDC for about almost 3 years back to back. And from working from the transportation side, it is a clusterfuck. It is the world's biggest nightmare because we're always changing things on the fly.
Yeah.
We send out drivers out there to pick up the artists from the airport, and then we grab the artists. Suddenly, the artists just want to talk to you because they're too good. So then they have to talk to their agent, who then texts you, tells you what they want, and then when you go out there to the actual field itself, a lot of time the coordination is so unorganized between the event coordinators and then the parking. So then you run into this jam of you have 3 to 4 35-pack buses,
Right.
having no clue where to go, and people getting cranky because the AC is about to break down in the car, and they just want to get out there and enjoy EDC. Yeah. The only really fun part of EDC is the music itself to line up the event, but to get there and from, it's a little rough on the transportation side from time to time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a big thing out here, but it's
definitely a moneymaker. I'm not going to knock that.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely a moneymaker.
I think it is. And it's good for the town.
Oh, definitely.
But it's very good that it's several miles away from town.
Yes, you guys go have fun out there and then come back later.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they do come back. Oh Lord,
They come back starving.
Yeah, right.
And try not to write, I love drugs at EDC on your window as you're going out there, because
Yeah.
Did you
easy
know
targets
that
people.
Metro actually plant a couple traps? There's actually it's a good time for them to make their quota on stings because they'll
for
lay
sure.
out. Oh yeah, they'll lay out bags of mollies and just sit there and wait in the crowd and see who grabs it first and be like, oh hey, you
Busted.
just grabbed that? Cool. Here's your handcuff. Enjoy EDC from the jail cell.
Yeah, and stop taking selfies of you doing drugs. It's so stupid. It's so dumb. But lastly, in the Las Vegas 3, as we've mentioned before, Las Vegas does not, Clark County, for where Las Vegas is primarily, Nye County has the brothels that you hear so much about. A Nevada brothel owner is facing code violations. This brothel is actually called the Area 51 Death Valley Cat House.
Really?
Yes.
That's a great name.
Yeah, Area 51 Death Valley Cat House. And he's facing code violations, and it's one of the first ones to ever face these regarding the action of the brothel, the prostitution. Now, why I brought this up was that it's actually a pretty typical good old boy situation out there. The brothel owner made a bid for a local political seat and lost, and it was a nasty, visceral fight. And he feels, and he has made it known that all of these code violations, which apparently can be argued for his side, are due to the fact that the election, which he lost, because the election was so visceral that its ramifications because of that.
Wow.
But he's actually his license is in jeopardy because of this. But
where is the brothel?
It's Nye County, and it's near Pahrump.
Yeah.
On the way past the winery.
So he's not in the safe zone for the brothel?
No, he's in the correct zone. He's in Nye County, and all the code violations are in regards to hygiene. And
too many crabs.
And too many. Is there an acceptable number of crabs? No, I don't think so. No, and all of these are just petty little code violations. But he's the first one apparently to be brought up on these particular violations, and some of it has to do with transaction laws and everything else. But as he describes it, it's clearly
an
being
attack
punished,
on him.
an attack. But he lost. Wasn't that punishment enough?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. But I'm sure that
Kick him when he's down.
I'll bet you what happened was, in reality, the story is one of his customers couldn't get the girls to do Electra cosplay, so they're trying to attack him for it.
Yeah.
Because she wouldn't dress up as Electra.
or some Furby, whatever they call
Oh,
it.
jeez.
Yeah, some giant bear.
A Teletubby.
Yeah, Teletubby.
The purple one, right?
Oh, jeez.
That's right. Or he would dress up as Kevin Nash right there.
Oh, no. Or Colossus for you, right?
That's
Did you love Colossus, the big silver?
That's right. All right. Well, I'm sure watch this transition. This is going to be smooth. I'm sure his gears are grinded by that problem. So here's what grinds mine. Here's the gear grinders, folks. Because John is here, John is, as I said before, he's a linguist and deals with the English language almost solely for his job now, and he and I have a great deal of respect for the English language as it was originally, set forth. But my question was to the panel here in the studio.
Yes.
What has happened to the English language? What is it Americans are trying to say? And when I say that, I mean desperately. What are they literally? What are they trying to say to me with the new speak?
With the new lingo?
Yes. Now, John and I had in the pre-show, I had a chance to talk to him, and he had some insightful information for me regarding what has happened. But I wanted to ask everybody. Now, what I mean by this is that, and I wrote this to you, John, in an email. The urbanization, and the bastardization, and the truncation. My mother will love me for all those words. Of our language, we've shortened it, we've urbanized it, and we've changed it to mean something else.
It's gotten horrible. The vernacular of people has gotten so bad nowadays. It hurts my heart. I mean, why are you trying to learn all these shorthand words when you can't even learn your regular English first?
Exactly. Well, everything has to be quicker now.
How about you, Adam? How do you feel about all this? I want to ask you.
Hey, everything's shorthand nowadays, and I don't know. It's
well,
faster,
you use too many words in that
less,
sentence. You use too many words. You didn't use the shorthand talk.
It's complicated, and it's not as easily understandable shorthand now.
Yeah, well,
but like shorthand's supposed to be easier to process, quicker to.
But see, shorthand was used for gaming at first, and now you're bringing it to the real world.
Is it everybody that you, for example, that you're thinking that's using this, or is it a generation or a?
Well, I think what Adam is speaking of, like using the vernacular, like totes instead of totally.
Yep, everything's short.
No one is that fucking busy. I just don't understand. Why are you doing this? But to answer your question, John, I think the current generation, and the generation now that is now in the speaking public beyond the millennials, I can't remember what they're called right now, but the millennials, I think with that generation, we're seeing these truncations, the totes, and the I can't even think of them.
Well, this all started with texting.
It's interesting because in linguistics, except what I'm an applied linguist, meaning that we look at the way language is actually used, not so much as a structural linguist, which looks at the way the language is designed or it's constructed.
Right.
So when I was in grad school, one of the projects that I did was, as I was in Monterey, I went to the Monterey Bay Aquarium. They have a big aquarium there, and I parked myself in a location for hours a day, listening to what people said. I was curious about intensifiers. Those are words that people will use to either heighten or reduce the effect of the illocutionary force is a technical term of what they say. So in other words, if you say, "Hey, that's a nice watch," nice is that's really cool. Those are intensifiers. I was curious to see which ones were in use. If men used them differently, whether they were different when a man was speaking to a woman, when a woman was speaking to a man, or within the gender. So those are things that an applied linguist would look at.
Yeah.
So,
Gotcha.
So we have a spoken grammar, and it is different than a written grammar, which is why we can say things and get away with them in terms of the words we use or how we say it, where in writing it has to be a little more formal. But when it comes to email and texting, it tends to actually emulate spoken speech. Mm-hmm. So I think it's interesting then because I'm not really around the younger, the crowds where I've heard some of these. But it's that effect now. It's that the written word was supposedly supposed to imitate the spoken word. And here we're seeing it in reverse.
Yeah.
Because I know when I send out a text message, I spell everything out. It's just the way I am.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like those because I'm a really fast typist. I learned on an old manual typewriter with the bar, and I was
school.
90 words a minute on one of those. So I moved over to an electric typewriter and then the keyboard. But I'm on that phone and it's pop, 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 pop. Talk to you later. TALK space.
Right.
I'm not.
We can also talk to how autocorrect is ruining spelling and grammar.
Well, yeah, and word prediction. I mean, it's amazing, but usually wrong.
It's often wrong.
Yes.
Often wrong.
Yes, very.
And another thing that I think in answer to your question, John, no, I don't think it's a specific generation. I think there are certain words that have spanned time, dude, cool, things of that nature, that it made it across. I mean, they were using dude and cool in the 60s.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and even before that, and cool was the beatniks. And
It's funny, what used to bother my mother was when somebody would refer to her or my father both together as guys. Have you guys decided,
What's up,
like in the
guys?
restaurant?
Yeah.
And she didn't like that because she always thought of a guy as being a man.
Right.
And she goes, I'm not a guy, and I'm not going to accept that. And it was just too informal for her.
And the other thing that I've noticed is that, and this comes from, I'm going to butcher the title of this book. It's the I think it's called The Big Black Book, or The Big Book of Black. And these two black authors wrote this book about the black counterculture and how it both succeeded and failed. It was brought about by individuals like Russell Simmons and Def Jam Records and everything else. And they literally were trying to form a counterculture for themselves, for the black community. Well, shit, the white kids loved it. And not only did they buy the shoes, they bought the clothing, they bought the albums, they bought everything else. They bought into the language that was being formed.
Yeah.
And now we have turn on any episode of Cops, with the guy with his shirt off. Why you have to be arrested with your shirt off, I don't know. But and you listen to their language, you listen to Judge Judy or any of the shows, and that's what's happened to it. And I think that was the beginning of it. So no, I think it's generational. I think it's been probably 4 to 5 generations where our language has it's no longer the language. I mean, it is so cemented into our daily culture that like using the word like. It was like this. It was like that. The most amazing thing is, here's the one that I love. Go. He goes this way.
Yeah,
he goes
they've
that
been
way.
doing that,
And
yeah.
instead of correcting it, what has the American culture done? They've conjugated it.
Yeah.
What's the past tense of go, meaning to speak? He went. Oh my God. What did you just do?
Yeah. Well,
You know?
language is, they're a real reflection of the culture and vice versa. So they do change. They said if Shakespeare were alive today, if we were to resurrect him, he would be illiterate because there are just so many words. And even looking at, words that get not just vernacular words, but new verbs, words like to Google.
Yeah.
And that's, how else do you say, I'm going to look it up on the internet? Well, that's what an old person says. I'm going to Google it. And that becomes a verb. And there hasn't been an irregular verb introduced in the language a couple hundred years. Everything that comes into it now is going to be regularized. So I Googled it. I didn't giggle it.
Yeah.
Right? It's
For me, it annoys me because like sometimes folks, the way they talk on text is how they talk in real life, and it's like, man, that you really, carry yourself that shorthanded.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to just carrying a normal conversation or using?
Well, it was interesting. They just came out. It was reported in the news yesterday. They now showed with small kids. Now these are toddlers.
Okay.
That playing 20 minutes a day on a tablet or a phone or something like that there is a risk then of a delay in speech production.
Oh yes, I've seen that. I just saw that yesterday too.
Yes.
It might hinder them.
That's right. And we find that really with kids even going into school. Of course, the group that I tend to deal with, my specialty is with the ELLs, known as English language learners.
Yeah.
These are kids that when they start school, English is not their first language. But I think when they're starting school, they're in kindergarten, they're in preschool, even first grade, all kids are English language learners because they may have acquired the spoken discourse, but they don't know how to read. And there is a special language really that they have to learn of school. Which is different. And no kid's going to know that until he enters it. So he may have an advantage, but there are kids even within that come from language-deprived backgrounds. The parents are not particularly articulate, or they don't talk. They sit there and watch TV all the time. They don't talk much to the kids. They say, get out of here, or whatever. So the kid starts school, and even though they're a native speaker, their language skills are poor.
For me, I totally can relate to that subject because me being a bilingual person, I feel pretty fortunate that I was able to learn Thai first as a little kid, and then before I was able to enroll in school, I had to learn English. So the best way for me to learn English as a child was it's gonna sound funny, but my dad would wake me up at 6 a.m, and I'd watch Bugs Bunny, Woody Woodpecker, Tom and Jerry. Like I would watch the American cartoons and then watch Sesame Street and learn my English. And that's how I developed my skills. And then I slowly learned more in class. And then I think by the age of 4 or 5, I was able to dual translate in like a heartbeat. Every time, because my parents took me to the little conference for class, and I would have to explain to teachers, I have to translate because my parents don't speak English too well because they only speak Thai. So as a little kid, you know, my teacher's in shock because I'm translating right off the bat like it's nothing, you know, from English to Thai, Thai to English. And I've been doing it for so long now to where it's just second nature to me now, you know, being able to translate in a heartbeat.
Yeah. And what they found also with bilingual kids is that when they first start school and they're first learning to read, they trail the monolinguals up to about 2nd or 3rd grade. And then they catch up and then they pass them up in terms of reading ability. So, and I always looked at it as that, and it's this whole thing of being sped up. Why are you so concerned about where your child is in 2nd grade compared to other kids in his class if he's a little bit behind, if he's learning 2 languages? Because it's not how you start that race, if you want to think of it in that term. It's how you finish it.
Yeah.
And they're going to be ahead. Just give it a little time.
Yep.
You know, just give it a little time.
We all pretend we're that busy, but we're not. Well, another, and you know, moving on from that subject. Thanks, guys. That was great. Another thing that drives me nuts, and I think it's under the guise of speed. You know, I still hold doors for people, male or female, doesn't matter. Hold the door. But see, the process is, I hold the door. And if it's a man specifically, the man begins to walk through, takes the door from me.
And says thanks.
And you know, a nod. I'll take a nod, you know. And a woman, you know, she can do, you know, she doesn't have to take the door, but she can motion like she's going to take the door and a thank you. I don't get that anymore. And,
do you at least get a curtsy from the woman?
I get nothing.
No curtsy at all?
Nothing. In fact, it got so bad one time when I was a little bit younger that I was told by clearly a woman who espoused women's liberation too late. She said, I can get that door myself. And so I let it hit her in the face. I was like, yeah, you can. There you go. Apparently you can't because now you have a bruise in your head. But yeah, take the door. I don't understand guys anymore. You know, courtesy is not completely dead. Chivalry is dead. But courtesy isn't dead. And take the door when somebody opens the door. But I mean, you feel like such a fool when you open the door and this guy just walks right in and starts to order.
Or you hold the door and they just walk straight in looking at their phone like they're still texting or playing Candy Crush. You're like, dude, come on, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah, there are certain, you know, features of etiquette that should get passed down that seems to have been lost. I mean, that was when I'd mentioned in that email last week to you about the hat, taking the hat off indoors, because there was a picture of, you know, Ted Nugent at the White House. And I thought, he's got his cowboy hat on. I said, I don't care if it's the White House or a whorehouse. Yeah. You're indoors, you take your hat off.
Take your hat off. I don't know. Now, the last one is more for me, you know, and there's a lot of people that know this about me, but I cannot stand whistling. To the point, so bad, that if I'm at a grocery store, a Walmart or whatever, God forbid it's a Walmart because it's too big, and I hear this whistling, this insipid, screeching whistling, I have to go find it. I have to identify who's doing it, or I can't progress through my day. I have to go find this idiot, and I don't understand. Does whistling bother you?
You know, I don't get out enough. I guess I don't hear enough of it. But yeah, I mean, if I hear somebody, you know, just shut up.
And sometimes, you know, it's an older gentleman, you know, of a past generation, of the greatest generation, that's whistling and is quite good at it. But he's just whistling. You know, he may just be trying to keep it together.
But I learned from the Andy Griffith show that whistling's allowed. I thought whistling was okay. Andy Griffith taught me whistling's just fine.
No. There's no social scenario where whistling is necessary or acceptable.
Isn't it a call sign? Isn't there like a call sign? You know, you go out with your friends and you whistle when there's a hot chick. You just whistle.
Yeah, the wolf whistle. The women don't want that. You know,
I haven't heard guys wolf whistling. You know,
Andy Griffith and that Disney the Song of the South.
Yeah,
you know, where the little bluebirds are whistling.
Yeah.
But
Good
but
times.
no, stop whistling. You sound foolish.
So if I whistle, I'll get fired? Is that what's going on?
Yes.
Dang.
No, well, yeah, among other things. Sam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I already lost, so that's already, I'm already fired halfway. Looks like our co-host disappeared. Swan,
okay.
make a mark. Adam disappeared.
That's no problem. He'll be all right.
Okay.
Is he still breathing?
Sure.
I don't
Sure.
hear
Yeah.
anything. I don't hear anything on the mic. All right. Well, thanks for putting up with us on the Gear Grinders. That was great. But gaming. I know, John. You're not big in any gaming.
The last game that I played with any relish
Not
was
gambling.
Doom.
Gaming. Gamer. Kind
Was Doom.
Doom.
Yeah, I liked Doom. I mean,
Nice.
you mentioned last week about you get into
PC
a game.
or console Doom?
It was on a computer, so
Okay.
yeah, it was a console, and I thought, I mean, I don't need a backstory. Just give me the machine gun, show me how to use it.
Let me jump into the action.
And let me get in it. I had the first PlayStation game, PlayStation 1.
Okay.
And I had Die Hard. And it was just like, can you free the hostages? Fuck them. Everybody's going down, man. I'm just getting off this. Yeah.
Shoot the
Take no
hostage.
prisoners, right?
Well, now,
It's a game.
so that being said, mobile games are lost
Too
on you.
small for me. Yes.
Too small.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, if you're ever interested, I just want to let you know that last year they released a newer version of Doom by the same folks of ID.
Yeah.
The graphic is 10 times better and way bloodier.
Wow.
And God mode is amazing because you'll play deathmatch.
Yeah.
And you collect the orb, you become God mode for like 5 seconds, but it's the best 5 seconds of your life because you're running through other people, the blood's splattering on you, and you're still shooting.
Ah, cool.
It's amazing. You'll love it. You'll love it.
And Prince of Persia, I played
Prince
that
of
when
Per- oh, yes.
Broderbund was the
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
I remember that. Well, the mobile gaming, we've had those discussions ad nauseum here, but there's a new one coming out, which is, I guess, flies directly in the face of what is right about a game. Sunless Sea. I found this interesting. I just happened to look into it. It is the progression of your character going from a deckhand, basically on a ship liner, all the way to captain, and how you got there and dealing with everything else, rough seas and problems with the ship and social interactions and everything else.
I saw the video on the PC version. It looks amazing. It sounds great. The music's good. The one vibe I really got, it was very strong steampunk / Lovecraft. Because all the monsters you're fighting,
Sure.
it has that magic. And I like how in the game, you have to light the buoys to keep the sanity of your crew. Because if you play the game too dark for too long, your crew goes insane, and it'll start to mutiny against you.
Now, see, this carries no interest to you, right?
See, I'd rather read something like that because
Yes.
I read Lovecraft.
Yeah.
And the same with like A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones. I like watching the series; it's really good. But I like reading the books more, so I kind of do them at the same time.
Gotcha.
Well, then they can evolve so much more, but on the written page.
Yeah, there's more characters, but still, they did a really nice job, I think. With the
So Sunless Sea looks really interesting, but I kind of agree with John. I don't know if I'm interested in being part of the storyline. But board games. This is you'll find interesting. John
Yes.
Carpenter.
Yes, The Thing. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
The Thing.
so excited.
So,
Back in the day, it was a Carpenter film, John Carpenter film, who did his own music. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
And
he was married to Adrienne Barbeau, I think.
I think at some point, yes, he was.
And then don't forget good old Snakes in it too. Kurt Russell.
Yeah, Kurt
Yes,
Russell
right.
stars in it. Wilfred Brimley, and I can't remember the other gentleman's name.
Oh, from The Thing, the original,
Yeah,
John Carpenter's
The
thing.
black guy.
Yeah, he played Knowles. That was the character's name.
Keith David.
Okay.
Keith David. Ha! Got it. And
10 points.
It's sort of one of the first ones that had the stuck in an area. In this case, it's a polar ice cap area, and
The
they have
research facility's gone wrong.
yeah, and they have it's an alien force they're dealing with, and John Carpenter was, I think, very much ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
You know,
Yeah.
that was a remake. You know who was the original Thing?
No, but was it?
James Arness.
Was it?
Yes,
really?
Gunsmoke, dude. Yeah, he
Gunsmoke,
played.
yeah.
Oh,
he
really?
played- yeah, the original one.
it was black and
Thing
white.
from Another Planet.
black
I think it
and
was
white?
called. It's black and white.
Black and
Howard
white.
Hawks, I think, directed. it.
Oh,
I've got it all.
okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. I only seen the John Carpenter one, and I was smitten with that as a
Yes,
little kid.
yes.
Watching it.
Oh, yeah.
Because my mom said no, we're off the bed,
Yeah.
and my dad's like, okay, well, wait for mom to go to bed, I'm gonna wake you up. We're gonna watch this
Right.
on a school night.
There you go.
Yeah.
So my dad
How
woke
cool
me
is
up at
that?
10 o'clock at night, and we're watching this, and I'm just enthralled in this movie. Like, I'm just dedicated. My eyes couldn't go away from the screen.
Yeah.
Watching everything being mutated, everyone's cussing at each other, trying to figure
Yeah.
out who's
Who
the
it is,
alien is.
yes.
Oh, man,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm on my toes.
Well,
Yeah.
apparently in October, I think I'm reading this correctly.
Yes,
They're
October.
releasing a board game of the thing. And,
Exclusively through Mondo T only for now.
Yeah, and it's has the same. You're the characters within the film,
Yep.
and trying to figure out, and I guess they're using the board game technologies now that they have that you could play it over and over again and still enjoy it, because again you're guessing who the alien force is. But I just thought that was great. I thought, especially because you were coming on, John Carpenter's The Thing on a board game. Now, lastly, in the gaming area.
I was gonna say one more thing about it.
Go ahead.
Sorry. For the Thing 2, the way the game is set up, the way they explain it so far is it starts off as a friendly co-op because you're working as a team.
Right.
But as you can tell, things go out of hand
Sure.
and go awry quickly, and you're trying to just eliminate each other.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. No, I'm looking forward to it. It's great. I love board games. I think they're great. Sony PlayStation. Now, what do you have now, John? What does your boy have? Xbox.
The 3, maybe? Is there a 3 PS3?
Well, PS4 is out of.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
been out for a
He
while.
hasn't played it
But
in a while.
they've put out, or going to put out. Is it out, Sam?
It's already been out for a while now. PS4 Pro.
Pro, and they're still having the compatibility issues. And what I mean is the backwards compatibility with the games. Now, they said that the Pro was going to be able to translate all games, 4 and 3, not 2, obviously. But and they're still having that problem. And
There's only 2 games that work right now.
Yeah.
The 2 games are compatible that can handle the processing is Tomb Raider and Shadows of Mordor.
Okay.
And then another situation is anyone that has 4K Blu-ray,
Yeah.
there's not backward compatibility on the PS4 Pro. However, the PS4 Pro will recognize your 4K monitor and help progress the game scale up. But the problem is when some of the games they played, like Deus Ex, like they scaled up and it lagged a lot more because of the scaling process. So they can't find that magical middle ground quite yet.
Well, the upscaling I think is just crap. Honestly, when you go from 1080 to 4K, that there is a clear difference. You can tell if you have the appropriate television or monitor. There is a clear difference between the two. Now, 1080 and 720. I'll tell you, if you have a good 720 clean, whatever you're watching, it's very oftentimes difficult. You'd have to be an industry member to see the difference. But I don't know.
So you're saying I can't get my 4K fix of Michael Bay? Because Adam would love to watch, all his Michael Bay movies.
Don't get John started on the Michael Bay thing. We don't have that much time.
Anybody deserved a kick in the balls, man. More than that, I don't know.
Wait,
what it
but
is.
you can't kick Adam while he's down because Adam's already down, remember?
Michael
Yeah.
Bay and whoever invented the selfie stick. Fuck that guy, man. He needs a kick in the balls too.
Are they the same people?
They might be. They might be related. I think if you look at them.
Sorry for the sore
guy.
subject, guys. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Well, quickly moving on away from Michael Bay.
Okay. I'll segue into movies and TVs. Who's
Yeah.
excited?
So we've already talked about it. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It's out.
Yes.
I hear that. I thought I saw Mr. Hoover post that he saw it. Is
Yes,
that true?
we
Okay.
took him to go watch the movie. It was really great.
Okay. Did you take him in this condition?
Nope.
Okay.
I guess I'll be doing this review solo.
That's fine.
My sidekick's gone. But
That's fine.
should I do spoilers or non-spoilers? What do you think, Jamie?
Well, no, just what was it
general?
good? Because honestly, it's gotten terrible reviews.
Yeah, my girlfriend saw it it's already been in the Philippines a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And she just said, well, it was okay, which I take to
Yeah.
mean she didn't probably really like it very much.
Yeah, I mean it's Rotten Tomatoes, Metascore, all the stuff. Now we've talked about that, how we feel about are in the 60s and 50s, which
Well, actually, it's 81% right now on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah.
Oh well, the IMDb's Meta is now at 55, so not
Well,
good.
I'll tell IMDb where they can go, but
Yeah.
on a different show.
And
But,
the consensus was, as far as the negative scores, it was self-serving. It wasn't as funny as it should have been. It was trying too hard to be funny, and trying too hard to bridge the gap between all the storylines. And of course, people thought the 5
Post-credit scenes.
post-credit scenes.
Oh, that
were-
sounds like a TV show, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that a TV show where you have commercials and you got a little bit of a show and commercial? Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But you feel
Right.
differently.
Definitely strongly different. I like to say, first off, IGN got it wrong. The transition was good. For me personally, the film, I give it 5 out of 5. I'm going to stand behind it. Anyone wants to come at me can come at me. It's fine. But the storyline was great. It was great writing by Gunn. The transition was good. The plot was great. And the soundtrack was good too. Like in the main storyline itself, the characters split apart. So people were complaining about the characters split apart, which I understand. But then again, you need to understand that he's trying to tell you a story about the individuality. So even though the team split apart midway through the movie, we're able to see more of the background of each character compared to the first film.
Okay.
So for me, it's a winner because it had you laughing the whole time. The opening sequence was funny, and the 5 post-credits scene stuck in its own world. Like, best way to explain it was, Gunn stayed in his lane. He didn't try to touch Thor or touch Avengers or anything else. He just stayed in the Guardians Galaxy realm. The Stan Lee cameo was amazing, and it was just all-encompassing fun film. Like, there's no way to explain it, but I still give it a 5 out of 5. I know people say there's room for improvement.
Yeah.
But you gotta see it for yourself. Just it was a great story, great dialogue, and just the chemistry between the characters and all the smack talking. It's hilarious. You find yourself laughing quite a bit throughout the movie.
Well, that's good. I lean probably towards your review, Sam. I think the expectations of Marvel now are so high that, I think people are expecting too much of each film. Plus, it's been a long time between these two films, between Guardians 1 and 2. Now I have a question for John. We've talked about this before. You have streaming
Yes.
subscription.
Yes, I have
viewing.
Netflix and Amazon Prime.
Now, do you? I know you and I both enjoy documentaries, but do you go into the Marvel series? Have you seen Iron Fist and
I watched Daredevil.
Have you
Now,
watched
I
it?
have a question.
Yes.
When you talk about binging,
Yes.
I'm curious what constitutes binging, because is it like how many episodes you have to watch before you? I'm watching this show and now I'm binging it. Is it you have to watch everything? You have to watch like 5 in a row?
I think anything over 3 counts as binging.
Okay.
Because you took more than 3 hours of your time
Yeah.
to,
Well, I
to the show.
More to the point, I think it's chronological. I think if you have watched the shows, if you watch 50% of the shows in a single day, that's absolutely binging.
Yes.
I've also heard it defined as if you watch it within or under the number of days that you watch it are under the number of episodes. Like if you're a 13-episode season,
And you watch it in less than 2 weeks.
if you watch it in 12 days, then you've
I
binged
see.
it.
Oh, in
Interesting.
that case, I'm horrible then, because for Luke Cage, I knocked out the whole season in a day and a half. Sorry,
Wow.
guys. I have no
Because
lie.
I watched the first 2 seasons of Daredevil.
Okay.
But again, I'm an old Marvel guy from my days as a kid.
Me too.
So I like the old ones. I don't know some of the newer ones. I did see the Deadpool movie. I thought it was hilarious.
You did?
I liked
Okay,
it.
good.
I thought
Good.
it was
I'm
different. But
glad.
yeah, I thought that was really funny. I just like the postmodernism to it. You look at the screen. He made fun of
Breaking the
himself.
fourth wall? Yes.
And then even so I thought that was pretty good.
Now one of the things Sam has as a note here, the Defenders is coming up, which what they're starting to do now with Netflix and Marvel is they introduce character for character for character, and then they group them up into in this case the Defenders, which will be Iron Fist, Daredevil, Jessica Jones. Well,
Yep.
who's the fourth one?
It's Luke Cage.
Luke Cage.
Yes.
Now, is that interesting enough for you to see it, watch it, binge or otherwise?
I might now. When I watch a show, I don't care how good it is. I watch one a day.
Okay.
I may have watched now. Lately, I've been watching Bosch because I like the books.
Okay.
So I'll watch that and I'll go, oh, what's going to happen next? I'll find out tomorrow.
There you go.
Because I watch it an hour at a time, and that's it. Where there, it stretches it out.
That's good.
You
That's
know?
good to enjoy.
And I know somebody who said that I watch Stranger Things. I binged it. I said, oh, you pig! You just wanted to know what happened to the fat chick.
There you
I'm
go.
willing to wait.
Now, jumping past Defenders,
Yes.
speaking of books, I'm assuming you've read King, some of Stephen King.
I read a lot of Stephen King. Yes.
Dark Tower just released their trailer. Now, they're talking a 3-picture deal.
Oh, that's good because I was concerned that there wasn't
Well, there's
enough.
like 7 books. Or
You can't fit everything into one
there's a
movie.
bunch. It's one
You gotta
series
spread
of
it
his I
out.
didn't read, but I know that The Stand, which is only one novel, but it's a long one.
Yeah, it's a big
and
one.
they've done TV. It just no. Something like that deserves.
It needs time. It needs time to marinate.
It's the same with Game of Thrones. They've gone
Yeah.
through 6 seasons. If you read the books, you realize that the first season, 10 episodes, 10 hours or thereabouts, covers the events of one book.
Yeah.
So it's like, can you imagine squeezing that into 2 hours or 2.5?
Exactly.
No, it's just you just throw out too much, and then it becomes, you lose the continuity of it. You wonder why it just becomes really shallow. So you really have to, because I heard that too. They said they're doing the Dark Tower.
A lot of folks told me Dark Tower is a great series to read. I'm actually going to borrow it from Adam so I can read it.
Yeah.
But from just a regular Joe seeing the trailer itself from the beginning, I already think it looks amazing. Like,
Yeah,
good
and I heard
cast
they're going
so
to do
far.
that with it also. That they're breaking it up.
Yes.
Oh,
because
really?
it's such a
Nice.
long novel. It's like
it's a
1,000
terribly long
pages.
novel.
Yeah, I was
that-
afraid they're just going to rush it onto one
Well,
film. Man.
in Dark Tower, they got Idris Elba, Matthew McConaughey.
Yes, that's great
they got some
cast.
heavyweights,
Yes.
So I think it's going to be great. But yeah, I was worried they were going to jam it all into one film, but they're not. You can tell
Yeah,
that they're
oh,
not.
that's
Oh
good.
yeah,
Through
you gotta
picture.
give these movies some time to breathe.
That's
you know,
right.
you gotta let them
Yeah.
stretch out a little bit and let things develop.
Well, and they need 2 years between films because it takes so damn long to do them. And McConaughey and Elba, they're very busy guys.
Oh yeah,
They're actually. I
stacked.
would approve them for shortening their sentences. They are that busy.
It's gonna be a shorthand movie. They're just gonna text each other their dialogue.
That's right. That's right. So American Gods, Sam, you wanted to mention?
Yes, I want to mention American Gods.
that? That's Ian McShane, right?
It's based on Neil Gaiman.
Yeah,
Ian
Neil
McShane's
Gaiman's
in
an
it. He's
excellent
Mr.
writer.
Wednesday.
Okay.
It's based on a book by Neil Gaiman. And it's about a guy named Shadow Moon who's got a prison, and he's thrown into this world of the gods, but
Okay.
in the modern American culture day. And it's written by Brian Fuller, the gentleman that did Dead Like Me. Also,
I enjoyed that series.
it's very fun. He did Dead Like
Yeah.
Me, Pushing Daisies, and also Hannibal, the TV show series. And you never seen it?
No, I didn't watch
Oh,
that. I
man.
didn't. It didn't appeal to me at the time.
It's crazy good just for the cinematography itself and the way he did the transitions for every episode and the music itself.
Now, where is this being released? Is it on
It's on Stars.
Stars? All
Yes. So it's available if anyone has the Stars app or Stars on Demand. It's available for you to watch.
Okay.
My biggest highlight is the first episode. You get to learn a lot about the characters. It's a slow plot at first, but just the visual effects and the way it's filmed and shot. And the last 5 seconds is totally worth the show. Like it's mind blowing that it's visually appealing because just like Hannibal itself and like Pushing Daisy, there's a lot of pop in his filming.
Now, is American Gods the name of the book, or
Yeah, it's the name of the book.
Yes,
also. Yeah.
yes,
All
yes.
right. Well, great. I wasn't aware. I knew it because of the marketing. I just wasn't aware of what it was about. Now, the last notation under movies here. I love this. Stan Lee, the creator, Marvel's creator, is in every film.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is not a spoiler by any means.
No.
What's his name? Feige.
Kevin Feige.
Yep, Feige. He had an interview and he said why, and he's actually, what they've done is made Stan Lee a character, part of the Watchers.
Yeah.
And he's ultimately going to have, they need to hurry because Stan's not getting any younger. But he's ultimately going to be a part of the Marvel universe, a large part of it. He's in the films because he's part of the Watchers.
He in the technical name of it was on Guardians 2. His credit in the film itself is Watcher Informant.
Informant.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But it all ties in. Basically, Kevin Feige just wanted to make it funny, Stan Lee breaking the fourth wall because Stan Lee is a character named Stan Lee
Right.
throughout the universe itself.
Right. I just love to see it because he gets to see his creation finally come to life. We have the
Yes.
technology,
Yeah.
and the old guy. He's
Now
gonna
we can
see-
build him.
Yeah, he doesn't have to die without it being realized. I think that's so cool. Plus, he's a funny dude.
Oh yeah. They gave him the
he's-
good one-liners, like all his zingers. It's really great.
Yeah.
Like you said, it was amazing seeing him in Deadpool as a DJ at the strip club. I couldn't stop
That was
laughing.
fun. Did you see that
That's
part? That
right.
was fantastic. That was fantastic. Well, thanks, Sam. Those were great subjects.
My pleasure. I love movies and TV.
Yeah, I know you do. Well, John, Area 52. I got a couple of good ones.
Okay.
John and I have been here. How long have you been here?
This time, I've been here 6 years. I've been here overall, I think 10 years.
10 years. Wow. Okay, long time. And we always find interesting information about Las Vegas and Nevada in general. 38% of all Americans now, not globally, 38% of all Americans have been to Vegas in their lifetime.
Interesting.
I find that to be very interesting.
Yeah.
38% is high.
Yeah, and because a town, unlike a lot of other cities that you go there once, okay, I've seen it, it changes a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And it changes all the time.
Absolutely. And Las Vegas, by the way, means the Meadows.
Yep.
Became a city in 1905, and it was all of 100 acres.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, the population here was only like 30,000 up in even in the 80s or so.
And in 1905, beginning right then, gambling was illegal. And then that was repealed in 1910. Thank God, right? But yeah, Las Vegas, a city in 100 acres. Dang. It was amazing. And back in the day, we had, we call it the El Commode, but it's El Cortez,
yeah,
the
El
El Rancho.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was, there's a problem with the movie Bugsy. With
Warren Beatty. Yeah.
Is that there's a scene where he's standing there in the road and triumphantly looking at down where the flamingo's going to be, and actually the El Rancho would have been right there on the horizon. Some errors here and there, but it makes it for a great film. And lastly, Nevada is the second largest gold producer in the world,
even though it's a silver state.
Yes, that actually was kind of amazing to me.
I did not know
South
that.
Africa is number one.
Yeah.
But second largest gold producer in the world still. That's amazing. And third in borax, by the way, if anybody cares. But lots of mining still going on here in Las Vegas. But John, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's always fun to be here.
Absolutely. And John, like we said, we'll have you back after Slayer. If you make it out.
Yep. The next show that I will see will be in July. It's going to be Rammstein and Korn.
Oh,
and Stone
man,
Sour.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man,
what's the venue at?
It's going to be T-Mobile.
T-Mobile?
Yeah.
Were the tickets a little pricey, or were they fair rate?
I think they were fair rate.
They're fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Because I'm still on the fence about purchasing tickets. I seen the prices. It seemed pretty fair.
Yeah.
Just I don't know the parking situation out there. I heard it's a nightmare.
I haven't gone out there, but I thought, well,
it's not bad.
I could find some other. I don't mind walking. I mean, you go to the MGM Grand. I went there for the Game of Thrones. They had
Okay.
Yeah. And it's you park, and it's like, okay, now I got to get out of here. And the venue is like down. This was in the MGM's parking lot. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'll just take the stairs because I'm right parked next to the stairs. I go all the way down. I can't get out. I got to go back up, take the elevator, go down. Oh, you got to over here and turn here, go up the stairs, now cross the street. And it's just like, I probably could have parked far away and just as far away and gotten out the parking lot, easier when the time comes to get out.
John, we'll have to have you back for all those concerts. I mean, for such an elderly man, the heavy metal is in your blood, man.
It is. It's a lot of iron in the blood. So,
well,
forged iron.
It's forged
next week.
Valerian steel.
Nice. Well played.
Next week, Sam and if Adam isn't dead, survives his party, his 32-year-old drinking problem. Here.
Damn millennials nowadays.
That's right. They are going to level up next weekend, and they're going to do some field reporting and get some interviews from hopefully the people there. And it's a gaming convention, cosplay, gaming, and get us all the new and
it has a little bit of everything you need.
Yeah. Where's it at?
Cashman Center.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So Sam and Adam are going to rip through there and see what's going on and bring that report back.
Just a heads up to our listeners: if anyone lives in Vegas and want to attend Level Up, the tickets are actually on sale at Groupon too.
Oh, great!
They have good multi-day pass deals. Not too bad. I think it's about $50 for 2 days.
Fantastic.
It's not bad at all.
Are you going to be in costume, Sam?
Probably not with the gear I'm carrying. I got to see how it's set up first.
There you go. So Sam and Adam are going to be there, and which means, folks, that if you're a regular listener and downloader of the Pod Bay Door, might be delayed. It depends on how we can get this produced for you. But look for, instead of Tuesday, you're going to look for Wednesday or Thursday for the next episode. But it'll include everything Sam and Adam do at Level Up, and then all of our standard segments, and I think we'll have a great conversation about Level Up and what's going on in there. So if you're the gamer, get in there on either next Wednesday or Thursday. Hey, thanks to everybody for listening and watching and downloading. You can catch the Pod Bay Door on the Podbean app or any of your favorite podcast apps, including iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, and Stitcher Radio. You can watch our show on our YouTube channel at the Pod Bay Door Podcast. Please hit those like, download, and subscribe buttons. We do appreciate it so much. Our social connectivity screen is coming up. Check in with us on Facebook, Twitter, and WordPress. The Pod Bay Door is closed, and talent is out.
Good teamwork. Good teamwork.
Hey, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning into the show.
Yeah.
We would love
Thanks
to
for
hear
your help,
your
Adam.
show suggestions and comments. If you're watching on our YouTube
Well,
channel,
he's
please click
hungover
to
this week and not
subscribe.
next
You can
weekend,
also
right?
connect with us on Facebook using @PBD Podcast, on Twitter using @TPBD Podcast, and on WordPress at thepodbaydoor.wordpress.com.